a guitar with a rosewood back and sides typically has more low frequency response than one with mahogany. And we attribute, therefore, rosewood means bass, mahogany doesn't. But actually, the way that I think this works is that it is the rosewood and it's not the rosewood. That the rosewood is a greater resistance because it's more dense and it's more stiff than the mahogany is. And so the energy traveling through the string into the top doesn't leave the top as efficiently because it can't transfer into the rosewood so easily as it does through the spruce. Therefore, the given energy causes the spruce to travel a greater distance because it's not leaving the spruce. We have more amplitude is moving here. And when we change those back and sides to mahogany, it's actually a more efficient energy transfer and it moves out of the top quicker. And so it's actually the top doesn't travel as far and therefore the frequency increases and we have less low frequency, right? Because the amplitude, it gives us fewer movements within a second, right? Within a hertz. And so, but interestingly, if you tap on the rosewood by itself, the tap tone is higher than if you tap on the mahogany. And that's because the rosewood is stiffer and denser. We all know that. But we still say rosewood equals bass. But actually what we're doing is, to me, acoustic design within instruments, and it must be the same within structures and spaces, is a matter of creating obstacles or making affordances to direct the energy or the movement where you want it and remove it from parts of the system you don't want it, right? It's obstacles and affordances. Is that a too naive way to look at this?
I think that's just right on. And we do have parallels from the story you just told, which, by the way, thank you for the clear explanation. I'm not a guitar builder, but that made sense to me. I strive for that in acoustics, in architectural acoustics as well, is that we should be able to talk to each other about this and not just within the community of experts. But we have similar things that have come up. We have spaces that are reverberant. They've gotten more so through the 20th century. That's another topic we could get into. It has to do with the precision with which we build and the lack of ornamentation, the stripping away of a lot of the three-dimensional details that we used to have. But we come up with these rules, these approaches. If you want to reduce the reverberation in a space, there are products for that. Let's talk about glass, because if we want to talk about this idea of material and how I think we may have been careless about how we defined it, fiberglass is what you could call a material, and it is well known to be a good absorber of sound. And you can buy fabric wrapped fiberglass panels. They're designed to absorb sound. They've been tested. They are understood. It's a known quantity, and you can relatively easily calculate how much you need and simply add them to your space to reduce the reverberation. On the other hand, glass windows, for example, or glass doors have a reputation in architecture as being acoustically bad, just as being a negative thing. I do talk to a lot of architects. I frequently hear, well, this room has glass, so it's bad, but when you dig a little deeper on the idea of material, you can ask, what are those glass walls made of? And what is the fiberglass made of? You can ask what substance these materials are made of. And you find out that they're both glass, that fiberglass is real glass. And of course, so are glass walls. And this is, to me, the point at which so much possibility opens up in design. Because then if we start to ask, why is it that one of these things is, let's say, reverberation promoting and one is reverberation reducing, if they're both made out of the substance glass, and you end up thinking about the shape of it, the complexity of it, and you can realize that there's an entire world, an infinite world of possible shape between a plate of glass and a fiberglass panel. and you're going to get an infinite number of possible acoustic behaviors within that range. And so no one would, but if I had a piece of plate glass and a piece of fiberglass in one hand, no one would argue if I said these are different materials. I think we sometimes look at, like, when we say material, I think we're including something about its structure, something about its form. We see this with everything. PET is a popular acoustic absorber these days. That's a resin, so you can take a resin panel in one hand and a resin felt in another, PET felt, and you could say these are different materials. And for the way that we discuss things, that's perfectly appropriate. But I think where we've been a little bit careless is that we too quickly say one is an acoustic material, one is not. Yeah. And we don't ask these deeper questions about what substance they're made of. And I think we just miss out on a lot. And the project that I've been working on most recently is these glass panels that it's a collaboration with Katie Newell and Wes McGee, both at the University of Michigan. And we, over the last few years, have essentially taken automobile glass and shaped it, slumped it in a way that we get these different acoustic behaviors out of it. So we take something in its flat form that's known to be acoustically, let's say, reverberation promoting, not necessarily bad. We're able to shape it so that we can get acoustic diffusion, so that we can get acoustic absorption, and something like no one has ever seen before comes out of it because it's a new surface design. And it's really the whole point of that piece is not meant to be in any particular location. It's not meant to be added to a wall anywhere. It is more like a piece of sculpture or an architectural surface that demonstrates that glass is not just bad or good, that you can actually get these ranges of behavior out of it.
Thank you for watching and listening. You can find more episodes wherever you listen to your podcasts. And a special thanks to those who support us on Patreon. It's your support that enables us to do this work.